Alright, let's jump right in. Now I've got two builds to show you today. The first one is the simplest and most straightforward, takes the least amount of work to set up. This build is going to use dual gun vambrace assault rifles. These have high basic damage, which the Eclipse is actually weakest to. It is technically weak to laser damage, but its basic defense is lower than its laser defense, to the point that laser damage actually can't compete with basic damage. It's a little bit weird. This is the only boss that I know of that has lower basic damage defense than its actual weakness. So we're going to be using the ARs. You can't use machine guns because they're mostly physical. You can't use shotguns because they're mostly physical. The ARs are the best choice. Now, the reason we're using van braces for this is because Eclipse has an abduction beam skill that will literally rip weapons out of your arms, but it cannot abduct gun van braces, and it cannot abduct shoulder weapons. So this will prevent him from robbing you of your weapons, and basically allows you to mostly ignore that mechanic of his entirely. The majority of the build is focused just around the assault rifles, but I do have the Harris Grudge because it knocks his shield out rather quickly, and that can be handy to keep your damage up as well. The helmet that I'm using is the Rakshasa because of its high lock-on range, and that's important because he likes to boost around and kind of shuffle himself with his clones. And if you have high lock-on range, you can prevent yourself from losing him and accidentally targeting one of his clones. If you don't have the Rakshasa, you can also use any other high lock-on range helm. The Alxo is another good choice as well. Which body you choose doesn't matter too much as long as you choose something with decent defense in all categories, because Eclipse will fire multiple different attribute types at you. He's got missiles, he's got an AoE barrage, he's got a laser, he's got all kind of fun tricks up his sleeve, so I like to use balanced defense on him. For the legs, I chose the same thing. I just chose whatever legs I had that had a good balance of VP defense and laser defense. For the actual fight itself, it's fairly straightforward. You're just going to try to stay within the assault rifle's very generous critical range and shoot him until he's dead. This will take about 2.5 minutes if he's really annoying. This is a particularly annoying behavior roll that I got where he's just absolutely obsessed with bouncing around and doesn't want to sit still. Sometimes he only bounces around a few times during the entire match. Sometimes he'll do it 2, 3 times in a row and follows it up with constant attacks. How he behaves will kind of differ a little bit from fight to fight, but you can expect a little bit of his shenanigans as you go. But it's a fairly straightforward beatdown. He can't disarm you, so you can mostly ignore the abduction beam from him and his clones. The important thing is that you don't lose sight of the main body, because if he bounces out of your lock-on range and creates a clone like he just did there, and you're not locked on, good luck trying to keep up with him if he decides to do his little shuffle technique. So this build isn't too bad. It took him out in about 2.5 minutes with suboptimal play, and I didn't really optimize anything. If I were to really try to focus on this build, I could probably get it under 2 minutes. But let's look at something that can do it in under a minute, and in 30 seconds even. This monstrosity is the Butcher build. Now, this uses 2 Butcher maces and a shit ton of Femto to absolutely murder Eclipse, to the point that Eclipse becomes one of the easiest bosses in the entire game. It's actually easier than Insomnia Rex. So the way this build works is quite simply 2 Butcher maces. They have the highest base damage value of any one-handed mace, except for maybe high-rolling Mind Crushers. But Mind Crushers have a negative skill value, and that negative skill value does not play well with this build because not most, 100% of the damage we're going to be doing is through the throw arm skill. So the Butchers are the best option for this. Propellant Tank is added just to add a bit of extra femto capacity. It's not really needed. If you use the Alxo body and the Alxo legs, you should have enough to take him out without needing the femto capacity, but you don't need anything else for this build either. Primus Pilus has the best femto efficiency of any helm that I have, so that's why I have it equipped. You can use whatever else you have that's got decent femto efficiency. And the arms are a little tricky. So most folks are probably going to assume that Muramasa is the best arm because it's got the highest brawling performance and it's got great grab and throw performance. But I think the Halberd is the best arm because the Halberd's got great brawling performance, but also terrible grab and throw performance. Now, why would you want an arm that's got bad grab and throw performance? Well, that's going to be because of the skill we're using called throw arms. Now, the skill throw arms is a bit funny. So it says that the vambraces you use, if it has higher grabbing or throwing performance, it will throw the weapon further, but it doesn't just throw the weapon further, it also throws the weapon faster. So the higher your brawling and throwing performance goes, the further your weapon will go and the faster it will return to you, which sounds great, and it does make it real easy to throw in succession, but one of the downsides of high throwing speed is that it actually reduces the amount of hits the enemy takes every time you use the skill. So let's see how it looks if we use the Muramasa arm. So as you can see, it does 232 damage, and it has good range and speed. It comes back pretty quick. The Halberd arm has lower range and moves slower, but it hits twice instead of once. Where the Muramasa arm hits one time, the Halberd arm hits twice. So ultimately, it's up to you whether you decide you want the higher damage per throw or the utility of having it be able to be thrown further and come back quicker. But I personally think Halberd is a better option because of the extra damage per throw will ultimately increase your femto efficiency, allowing you to do more damage over a longer period without burning through your femto. So choose which one you will, but that's my 2 cents on the matter. If I were to really grind away and get 2 A-rank butchers and max out my brawling on 2 halberds and use the attack up, I could probably kill this guy in between 10 and 15 seconds flat. Just with the basic setup here alone, it takes under 30 seconds. It's such a wildly efficient way to farm this guy. It even breaks through his shield and attacks him while he's shielded. This is so ridiculously overpowered. It's not even funny. Well, that's going to be it for Eclipse. I hope you found this video interesting. Thanks for watching, and have fun butchering Eclipse from now on. See what I did there? Okay, I'll see myself out now.